Welcome to another episode of Inside the Can, your guide inside the hottest, most honest trash talk. My name is JT, and as usual, Sensei Tyler, and a garbologist from another holler, Drey.
Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We appreciate you joining us as we get to know your waste inside and out. This week, we're wrapping up a deep dive into the great topic of recycling.
And really, that can very quickly ruin it for everyone in that.
That's how you lose the whole site.
Exactly.
You had mentioned the community cleanup.
Yep.
Have we ever thought about putting in a lithium battery collection?
We do actually collect batteries for that. Up to 8 pounds. So like a full-size car battery, truck battery we don't take, but any battery up to that, you can drop it for free.
Oh, okay.
During the community cleanup?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, only during that cleanup.
Right. So I know with the lithiums, there's some very specific things you have to have when you're kind of collecting them in bulk, if you will. Like you'd have to have, it physically can't be near an inhabited building. It's got to be so many feet away. It's got to be in a container that can be sealed so that the air is consumed. Yeah, there's some very specific stuff around it. So if someone were to do it, it's got to be done in a manner that appeases that.
What is the biggest complaint your drivers have about recycling?
Ooh.
I like that question.
That is a good question. It's abuse. And when I say that, we just had one not that long ago. The driver drove up. You're driving up to a 65-gallon container, right? It's a good sized container, and you got 4 foot of sheetrock sticking out of the top.
Yep.
And you're just like, that was intentional. It was meant like, I'm going to use this thing as a second garbage container.
Yep.
That's the stuff that just, I think, drives the guys nuts. They see a bag in there. They see a piece of styrofoam. They're like, I think maybe they just misunderstood how this works. You see something like that, something that's just blatantly not recyclable, and it drives them nuts.
It's filled with hate and anger is what it's filled with.
It is. And unfortunately, what we do is we don't throw that in the recycle truck. We drive past that. We call that customer. We tell them it's got to be out of there. We can dump it this week as garbage. It's a small fee for it, but we can't continue to see that happen. If we see repeated abuse, we will remove the recycling container. It's one of those things that, you get to do it. It's not just a given,
We have to provide the service in some areas, but not if you're going to abuse it.
Correct.
If you're not going to use it as recycling, you don't get to do it.
Right. Drivers also really like it when there's a good gap between them.
Oh, amen, Reverend. Yeah. Thread the needle all the time.
Shooting between the Beamer and the mailbox and the dog that came out, and you're trying not to get any one of those.
You'd have to have garbage and recycling on the same day in order for your drivers to be upset about that.
Why don't you rub that in?
Yeah. Boy, is that going to be edited out?
Yep.
I hear you're not far from it.
No, we're not. No. We should have done it this spring. I want to say one thing that, as a driver myself, that I don't like is big cardboard wedged in the container. With an automated truck, it's not going to come out. And then we're going to get called back because the cart's half empty or half full.
Test SU, no more cardboard cutouts in the recycling.
Those were trash. Remember, they weren't cardboard.
Oh, they weren't?
No, they were like...
Ooh, like that plasticky.
Foam board,
yeah, gotcha. No, and I agree with you. Garbage or recycling, how you load your cart makes a big difference. I don't think people really know too much about that. A little harder with recycling because most things are fairly light in general. But when it comes to your garbage, right, if you put packing peanuts and bubble wrap and a wedge of pizza box down there, it's not coming out. It's the same with recycling. If you go to throw large cardboard or just something that takes up more space, even we'll see it happen with like pop container, right? If you don't break that down and that thing gets in there the right way, it'll hold everything behind it still in there. So just keeping that stuff loose and in there, and
it'll stay there week after week, and we won't even know that it's there.
Right. Yeah. We don't have a camera that looks, up into the cart when it dumps. But
it'd be nice, but
if you have to force it in there, it's
not going. You're gonna have to force it out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Cut it down. We say it's easy enough to do, but we talk about less than 3x3 realistically.
For cardboard.
For cardboard. If it's any bigger than that and you're folding it in half and it's gonna origami back out inside that container, it's gonna be stuck in there.
Yeah, and what I like to tell people is if they have a lot, like stack it up alongside your container, and then when you're ready to put your container out, put it flat on the top of the pile, like so the lid's maybe over top of it.
Gotcha.
If it's big items. But yeah, and then if it's bundled together, even better. If there's a little bit of weight to that bundle, it's gonna fall out.
Right. I kind of like the idea of stacking it on top, and because then we can still take it all without having to mess around too much.
And back to the pricing structure, that the more time we take doing a route, the more expensive it is for us. So the whole idea of an automated truck is the efficiency. We can do more stops in a day, help keep the prices down. So if you're having those piles of extra stuff outside, or driver has to get out all the time to pull that big chunk of cardboard or sheetrock or something out. It's adding time to it, which just over time adds to the cost of doing business.
Right. One area that we have to flirt with a little bit, and I don't want to throw my customers under the bus for this one, but the go backs for recycling are a bit tough to swallow.
Oh yeah.
There's a few things to that, right? It's just talking about this statute, and you are paying for a service, but in reality, it's kind of subsidized. The second thing is just sending a truck back to get your recycling consumes so much resource.
So expensive.
For that one set of recycling. And again, if it's on us, if we truly miss that customer, we're going to do everything we can to make it right. But that's just one thing a customer could keep in mind is like, hey, as much as I missed that service or I was a late set or whatever it could have been, just keep in mind that truck likely getting between 2.5 to 4.5 miles to the gallon, is coming back to your residence to collect that.
I use the number of $150 an hour for a cost. And we just did this in the last episode, I believe. We talked about, like you just said, if it's our fault, we'll make it right. If you miss the pickup and we have to come back for it, there's going to be a fee associated with that.
It has to be.
Yeah, I mean, like I use the example of if we're going 20 miles away to get an extra stop, the cost of that to us is a minimum of $100. And we're not going to charge $100 for that, but we should. Like, I want people to understand these companies have to eat a lot for customer service as well.
Yeah, you kind of joke about our industries just in general is we consume so much, but it all ends up going right back into a lot of different things. Like the total margin in general is fairly low, but that's where the volume is kind of helps make that up. So when we talk about our densities and our efficiencies, that's the lifeblood of what we do. I mean, if we're not picking up enough in a certain period of time, it doesn't cash flow. That's where we flirt with, are you going into a new area? Are you adding recycling in this area? Are you going to go back for X, Y, Z? All that has to be thought of kind of rather instantaneously.
Yeah, when the phone call comes in.
Yeah, exactly. Where the gals in the office are pretty good at that, about getting a pretty good idea of what's realistic.
Yep.
Is there anything else you want the folks at home to know about recycling?
Let's just recap here. Number one is do not bag your recycling. Bag all your trash. Do not bag recycling.
Yep.
Let's talk about shredded paper quick.
Shredded paper, yeah.
You used to have to bag it in a paper bag, staple it shut. Now they don't want that.
They don't want that. Nope. So shredded paper, as you saw when you guys went down there, we're talking about the air jets, right? Shredded paper is like confetti when it goes across that thing. And so there's just no good way to recycle shredded paper. I say that in a curbside setting. But yeah, if you've ever watched that stuff go across that blower, it's like a party went off in the MRF there. And then if it gets wet on top of that, it's paper mache, it gets bound around things.
Sticks to everything.
Mess. Yep, absolutely.
So
shredded paper.
No good.
Throw it away. I even tell people, if you end up tearing up your junk mail, right? If it gets realistically smaller than like an oversized Post-it note, it's garbage.
Okay.
It's not. Those sorters are wicked fast, and don't get me wrong, some of it might sneak through, but a lot of it ends up in the catch trays and the blow-off trays, and it just makes a mess. So I always tell people that the oversized Post-it is kind of the minimum size. We get questions on pill bottles, prescription bottles. Those I would also say, one, I think that plastic is actually not recyclable, being that it's a hard, crunchy plastic, but it's also of that same size that is almost unrecyclable. We previously talked about a crushed aluminum can, right? That's about the smallest that they're able to catch. So if you think of that similar size, anything smaller than that, I would not worry about trying to get that recycled in.
Good advice.
Let's reiterate batteries.
No batteries. I mean, honestly, as small as your watch batteries, those are still can be lithium batteries. Just YouTube it. You can watch people puncture those things. It literally shoots a flame out of there. That lithium oxidizes so fast and creates that thermal event.
Yep.
And it doesn't take much if you're sitting inside a garbage truck full of paper and cardboard, how quickly that can just ignite.
And you can look up videos everywhere of a garbage truck having to push a flaming load out in the middle of the street. As terrible as that sounds.
It's lucky if they get it out.
Exactly.
They'll take a truck out.
Yep.
It's
quickly.
Pretty incredible.
So to recap, back to the beginning, what you said, the 2 B's, batteries, bags.
Batteries and bags. If we could conquer those two, everything else that we kind of talk about is fractional compared to it. So
wrap it up, boss.
You got it. Thank you again for being here. We really appreciate you spending your time with us.
Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. And hopefully we'll come back again.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have lots of other things to discuss. And like I said, the more we can help educate, the better it'll be for all of us in the long run. So we really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Glad to be of some help. Hopefully some educational content there. Again, like I said, if anyone's got questions, I think any hauler that you might have, never hesitate to give them a call.
We'd rather hear the questions than have to deal with the repercussions of just doing it.
Correct.
Perfect. Well, this has been another episode of Inside the Can. Follow us on your favorite social media sites to ensure that you do not miss the next aromatic adventure, because being trashy is much more sophisticated than you think.
Amen. That was good.
We love Angie.
Okay.
Why?